everyone, and welcome to Fresh Outlook. I'm Nia Toski. We thank all of our viewers in the U.S. and abroad for watching today. It is a wintry day here in Somerset, New Jersey, where we film the show. We hope wherever you are having better weather. And speaking of weather, here in our state, our governor, Chris Christie, is still weathering a storm, now known as Bridgegate. Of course, we are referring to the scandal at the George Washington Bridge, which is still making headlines. This week, 20 subpoenas were issued, and the man with the White House ambitions has now hired an attorney. Also, Americans will celebrate Dr. Martin Luther King Day on Monday to commemorate the Nobel Peace Prize winner's impact and legacy. There are numerous events and services scheduled nationwide, and if you're one of our viewers from overseas, it is also a national holiday in the U.S. on Monday. In other news, over the weekend, Clayton Kershaw became a much talked about topic. The 25-year-old pitcher for the Los Angeles Dodgers was awarded a record-breaking $215 million contract, making him the highest paid player in baseball. But the team says his performance on and off the field makes him worth every dollar. But first, speaking of dollars, lawyers have been hired, the subpoenas have been issued. Bridgegate is far from over. 20 of Governor Christie's past and present staffers have been issued subpoenas and given 2 weeks to surrender emails, texts, and other documents. Just about the only member of Governor Christie's political inner circle not subpoenaed was the governor himself, who will be sworn in for his second term on Tuesday. Here's more on the continuing scandal.
This week, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie took to the podium for his State of the State address. The address began with addressing the ever-growing issue of the Bridgegate scandal.
Mistakes were clearly made, and as a result, we let down the people we're entrusted to serve. I know our citizens deserve better, much better.
He then pushed on, talking about the state's economy, jobs, and a new plan to extend the school day and school year for all of the state's school-age children.
Life in 2014 is much different than life 100 years ago, and it demands something more for our students. It is time to lengthen both the school day and the school year in New Jersey.
But education professor Arthur Powell says what is important is not the quantity of education, but rather the quality.
There is actually little effect of having students study longer in the day or stay in school for a longer period of time during the year.
But efforts to divert attention from questionable actions has not stopped the piling allegations of wrongdoings by the governor. Allegations he misused millions of dollars in federal funds for Hurricane Sandy recovery in a commercial titled Stronger Than a Storm, featuring scenes from the Jersey Shore and starring the governor himself.
Because we're stronger than the storm.
While promoting tourism at the Jersey Shore in the wake of Hurricane Sandy is certainly a worthy endeavor, recent reports have led me to believe that the state has irresponsibly misappropriated funding allocated by Congress from the Sandy aid package and taken advantage of this waiver for political purposes.
Whether or not the bridge or the Stronger Than the Storm controversies can be spun to preserve the governor's reputation as a leader or presidential candidate remains to be seen.
To talk more about Bridgegate and what's next for Governor Christie, we are joined by former White House aide Dee Benke, Anthony Caruso, who worked for former Governor Jim Florio here in New Jersey, and we also have Dr. Michael McCoy from Rutgers University. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, so we just saw that commercial, and we were talking about that earlier. What were your thoughts about the commercial? Do you think that he should have been starring in the commercial so close to an election? And we'll start off where we've got the shaking of the head right off the bat. We got Dee Dee. Talk to us about that.
This is such a stretch. I mean, give me a break. This is after Hurricane Sandy. This is the governor. I mean, this is the guy that provided and was able to, actually he got in big trouble for putting his arm around the president to help the state, to help the people of New Jersey. And now they are criticizing him. Pylon Pallone is criticizing him after he got all this money secured, and even at the, heckling of a lot of Republicans. So shame on Pallone. I think the ads were fine, and there's absolutely nothing illegal about it.
Is Pallone piling it on?
Probably is. They all do. I think it's the kind of question, how much did the commercial cost? If the commercial didn't cost that much, fine. But frankly, everybody spends money, and it wasn't necessary, but is it a big deal? Again, it's just an added thing that they can attack him on.
Dr.
Yeah,
McCoy, what do you think?
No, I agree with that. I think this is a sense of sort of blood in the water, let's jump on him for whatever. I mean, I remember the Stronger Than the Storm commercials, and we used to actually joke about them at my job. These are clearly campaign commercials that he's running. But it's not even, the question is more the timing. If Congressman Pallone really had that big a problem with it, where is he during the campaign?
Exactly.
He was afraid of Christie during the campaign because Christie was popular in the state. Now he's taken a hit because of this Bridgegate scandal. So there's blood in the water. So let's now figure out everything we've thought of to get at him. The real question is, let's keep our eye on the ball. Did he know about this, these orders to block the bridge? If he didn't, then the scandal, at least on the state level, is done. If he did, that's a bigger issue, and this issue at the commercials is just a sideshow because Pallone has higher ambitions.
I want to talk about this statewide apology, but I also want to talk about the governor is down in sunny Florida this weekend, and he's doing some fundraising. So this is his first actual test with the national GOP after this bridge scandal. Do you think that he needs to make the same apology that he said to New Jerseyans, or does he need to do something else on the national level?
I think they already saw the apology. It was nationwide. I don't think he needs to revisit that issue. I think he needs to move forward and basically let the investigation play out and then move on from there.
Dee Dee, agree, disagree?
People in Florida don't care about that bridge. They just think it was some traffic jam. I'm sure they don't even get it. I don't even get it. People at home in Indiana are like, what's to do with the bridge? They only care if he lied or not. And I think, too, that's the most important point, which I don't think he did. I think Christie's a straight-up guy. If he knew about it, he would say he knew about it.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to apologize to the people of Florida because I'm not sure what he'd be apologizing to them for. But I do think he needs to rethink his whole national strategy because this whole scandal.
Well, maybe that's the question, the national strategy.
And I'm not sure. I think he's got a lot of time to do it. He's got a few years to do it. But this played into the, Tony Soprano bully stereotype of, unfortunately, my state, New Jersey in general, and of Governor Christie in particular, and he's really got to rethink how he's going to break that stereotype, because if he can't, this will be a problem 2 years from now when he actually is running for president.
Do you really, and it is a funny name that he has been given, the question, and we will be asking a couple of other questions, but will Tony Soprano be elected in Iowa? And
yes, people love Tony Soprano. That's its strength.
They don't want him as president.
They don't want a weenie.
It's never a question
Nobody wants a weenie. It's not going to do what they say they're going to do.
It's never a question of do I like you, yes or no. It's do I like you more than the other guys.
Exactly.
And when he's up against the other
He's a strong guy. That's a good thing.
The question becomes, did he know about it? If he did not know about it, he will be elected. If he did know about it, I think whether they call him a bully or a weenie, he's not going to go any further. He's going to be done.
But I want to go on to something else, because to your point, Dr. McCoy, about blood in the water, a lot of folks are jumping on right now. Governor Christie has obviously not been found guilty of anything, but now another mayor is coming out saying that Christie's staff, the entire staff, was bullying. Hoboken Mayor Dawn Zimmer has now said that the Christie camp held Hurricane Sandy money hostage and would only get it if she backed a politically connected development project.
Oh, well, how convenient.
It's another thing, more blood in the water, more people jumping on the bandwagon.
It's another thing, and it happens all the time. It's been happening for 100 years. Not that it's right, but let's not draw too much attention to something that's been under Democratic governors as well as Republican.
Well, when you start hearing the word extortion, though, in the same.
Well, that's a strong word.
It's a strong word.
And what backslapping about a project, saying, "Hey, hopefully you'll get it through," versus "do it or else." They're two different things,
but
and we need to find out what happened.
To be true when you're talking about extortion. I mean, come on. I mean, that's too strong. That's not even believable.
But what I want to do though is backtrack a little bit. Let's actually talk about before Bridgegate and what Governor Christie's reputation before that. Even before that, he was having problems with Republican primary voters. If you look at a lot of the things,
he won by a landslide, though.
He won by a landslide in New Jersey. And he's still popular in New Jersey, even in the midst of Bridgegate. He still has 60% popularity within New Jersey. I think in New Jersey he's fine. But if you look at what things the Romney campaign said about him, they said that his staff was obnoxious. They said he was hard to deal with. If you look at the speech he gave at the Republican convention, it was very self-centered. It was almost overly obnoxious.
That was a great speech. I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was there. The Republicans love him, and he polls the best of any Republican against Hillary Clinton.
And if you look at the articles right now, people in the Romney world are saying this is exactly why we didn't pick him.
He's a sore loser.
Let's hear from Mr. Caruso.
You
got caught right between them. Let's find out. What did you think about Christie's speech at the GOP convention?
I thought it was fine. Again, when you have the podium and you have the spotlight on you, you want to send your message the way you want to send it. That's his style. It's been effective so far. Hopefully it'll be effective for the man going forward once this investigation's over, but everybody has their own style. You put any politician on the spotlight, and I'll be able to pick that politician apart and give him some kudos at the same time.
Now, you worked as an assistant counsel for Governor Jim Florio,
Yes.
the former governor of New Jersey. What advice would you give when you start hearing that somebody has hired an attorney now? I mean, is that something where people say, well, maybe he's hiding something?
Well, it's ironic they're hiring attorneys when you have probably too many attorneys in the State House right now as it is.
Well, you would know.
But I would say this. I would say at this point the governor should lay low, stick to his message, let the investigation play out. There's no reason to even comment on it. If he is true to his word and he wasn't a part of the wrongdoing, he'll be fine. But if he keeps sticking in his 2 cents, it's going to be a problem for him.
Do you think, I mean, just in terms of just taking the temperature, obviously we've got 20 different people, I believe 3 different groups and 17 staffers, former and present, are going or have been subpoenaed, and they have 2 weeks to hand over all their documents between emails, texts, and all the other written documents. Do you think? What are your predictions? Let's go there.
That for me, I mean, that's the most troubling part is all this legal stuff, because whether he deserves it or not, they can throw all kinds of things. As an attorney, so that bothers me a little bit. I think it's a little unfair, but I think he'll survive it. So I think in this case, what doesn't kill him will make him stronger.
I think the most disturbing thing to me is the fact that we have the Senate investigating this, we have the Assembly investigating this, and we have the federal government, the U.S. Attorney General's Office investigating.
Yes.
Absolutely too much. I think the Fed should stay out of this for now. Let the state do its own investigation, but let's have a joint committee on this rather than have 2 separate ones.
Well, I was going to say there's quite a few investigations, and sometimes it seems like everybody's jumping on the bandwagon, getting blood in the water.
Absolutely.
To your point. Okay, true or false? Christie has been called Rhino, a Republican in name only. True or false? We have just about 1 minute left.
It's true that he's been called that. Whether he actually is one, I'd say it's false.
False.
False? I know.
They do say that, but it's false.
Okay, he's a bully who can't keep his anger in check. True or false?
True-ish.
True-ish?
I would hope it's false, but obviously there's evidence of some of that going on.
I think definitely false. He's just a strong guy. He's a big, strong guy. Good for him.
Well, he did call a couple folks numbnuts.
They deserved it. They
The
were
day
numbnuts.
before the election,
He may have to work on
the day
that.
before
deserved
the
it.
election, he told a woman to shut up.
As opposed to a man, what's the difference? I don't think it should matter.
And so that looks bad, and he needs to work on that for his public image, because if you're going to run for a president, that's a really tough thing. You need to work on that.
Okay, well, he's obviously still hugely popular. I'm going to agree with Dee Dee on this one. He's hugely popular in a state that's
absolutely.
obviously way to the left, but unafraid to take on a national party that is considerably to the right. Is he still going to be adored in the next month
I think those who love him still love him.
I agree. I think opinions have not really changed. It's a long way till the finish line, so let's wait and see.
Dee Dee?
I think ultimately this is going to make him more popular and stronger, because I think he will survive it. It's going to be tough, but they'll see he's a real leader.
All right, well, thank you very much for your insights, and don't go away, everyone. When we come back, we will talk about the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as the nation celebrates his legacy this week.